The City of Marine City Commission meeting is called to order on Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. We have a moment of silence to send our positive thoughts and prayers to those in our community that need our support. Now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bryson.
Here.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Here.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Here.
Commissioner Rohrig.
Here.
Commissioner Ross.
Here.
Mayor Vandenbosch.
Here.
City Manager Atkins.
Here.
Okay, on to approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Presentations, proclamations, and recognitions, we have none this evening. On to item 6 for public comment. Anyone is welcome to address the City Commission. Please state your name, limit your comments to 5 minutes. Commission will not respond. We will follow up as necessary, and please direct all your comments up to the Commission and myself as the chair.
Is there a reason why this is on an angle like this? Anyways,
No.
R.T. Hilla, 5341 River Road, East China, Michigan. I am here tonight. You guys, I don't know what kind of job you're doing. From where I'm standing, it looks like everybody's doing a very good job from what I can see. My concern is the water bills. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because my 105 South Williams Street, I had a tenant in there, and I'm not going to give you exact dates or figures, but approximately in October of last year, the water was shut off by me. I went in the basement, I shut it off at my off valve and the city meter. Now, with it being shut off that way, there's no water coming in, correct? And I got a $400 water bill 3 months later, okay? I had a fire at 637 Bell River Road, and the water was shut off. And I just got a water bill for $150 for no water being used. I just sat with a gentleman in the audience here that grew up in that house, and he just told me his property over off of, what is that, Carroll Street or one of them over there, his water bill's $150. So $10 more than what my water bill was shut off, and he's using his. I have major concerns. I've got people that live in Cotterville Township with $90 water bills, and I've got a $150 water bill that's with the water off. That'd be like me going to Kmart or VG's and buying 6 gallons of milk and only taking 1 home for the month, and then going back next month and buy another 6 gallons and take 1 home. Please, please, I know you guys are stressed and busy with a lot of things. Let's get the water under control. I mean, it is a issue big time. It's not me, it's all of us. We live on the river. The water should practically be free. Please do something to help these people. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Philip Luckshak, Marine City resident. I just want to say I noticed on the agenda that the city manager is up for evaluation, and I just wanted to throw my input as a citizen that I think our city manager has done a wonderful, wonderful job since he took the post. I've seen great changes to the city commission, the way it functions, the way it operates, the way the day-to-day and the city offices operate. I think we're at a really good point in Marine City now. Everything is more peaceful. There's really no tension. All that's gone away. And I attribute a lot of it to Scott Atkins. I got a feeling a lot of you are probably on a similar page based on what's been going on in the city. but as a resident, I wanted to throw my support behind Scott Atkins, that he should receive a very fair and excellent evaluation for the work that he's done. I mean, the guy is retired, he came to help us out, and has done an amazing, amazing job by my standpoint. So Scott, thank you very much, and I'm hoping you get an excellent evaluation tonight, because I know sure as heck you deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks.
I second it if there's a film going on right now.
Anybody else? Anyone else, public comment? No? Oh. All right, seeing nobody else, we'll move on to item 7, approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the city commission meeting minutes of March 21st, 2024?
So moved. Support.
Okay. Motion and the support, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. And can I have a motion to approve the city commission special meeting minutes of March 21st, 2024?
So moved.
Support?
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. On to item 8 on the consent agenda. We have 8A, the Charter Review Committee meeting minutes of January 11th, 2024. B, the Charter Review Committee meeting minutes of January 25th, 2024. C, the Charter Review Committee meeting minutes of February 8th, 2024. And D, the 300 Broadway meeting minutes of February 26th, 2024. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through D as presented?
Make a motion that we approve consent agenda items A through D as presented.
Support.
Okay, any discussion? Hey, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien?
Yes.
Commissioner Rourke?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, items removed from the consent agenda, we have none. On to item 10 for financial business, 10A, expenditures including payroll of $500,600.21. Can I have a motion to approve the expenditures including payroll in that amount of $500,621?
Make a motion we approve expenditures including payroll for $500,600.21. Support.
Any other discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hendrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien?
Yes.
Commissioner Rourke?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, on to 10B for Resolution 003-2024, and then that is the request to restrict surplus funds from the Marine City Area Fire Authority. And can I have a motion to approve the Resolution 003-2024, resolution to restrict the surplus funds from the Marine City Area Fire Authority?
Make a motion we approve resolution number 003-2024, request to restrict surplus funds from the Marine City Area Fire Authority. Support.
Okay, and any discussion?
Yeah, I'd prefer to go into like a little bit of why this might be.
The, each community has to pay a portion of the fire authority funds.
Right.
And at the end of that year, if there's any funds left, everybody always agreed that we put that money into an account and we build that account so that we can buy newer equipment without having to raise rates.
Right.
But we should be doing a resolution, they did it, man, it's been years.
2013.
Yeah, a long time ago, but every year they should be doing it. So all the communities are gonna do the same thing, to leave
Okay.
that money in there so that we can,
So this is to
Build the
make an
fund.
existing practice more official and,
it should be done every year,
Codify.
including even for the auditors. Every community should be doing it. So each
Sure.
community is gonna have their same resolution, and they're gonna pass it to keep their portion of the money in the funds, and then that goes for any extra stuff that we purchase without raising rates.
perfect.
And it provides a consistent audit trail.
Correct.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien?
Yes.
Commissioner Rourke?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick?
Yes.
Motion carried.
On to item 10C, Resolution 004-2024, That's a fund transfer from general fund to the water sewer fund. Can I have a motion to approve that resolution, 004-2024, the resolution to approve the fund transfer from the general fund to the water sewer fund in the amount of $4,000?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 004-2024, fund transfer from the general fund to the water sewer fund.
Support.
Any discussion?
Add the $4,000, please.
For $4,000.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I can, I just want to make a comment on all of the resolutions that you're going to find for fund transfers. These are an accounting practice, so we are basically just transferring from the general fund into the appropriate funds according to charges that have been accrued. So it is required as part of the audit and of general financial measures, and they have to be done separately, so you'll see that each one will have the details, but they are all done, and we prefer to have them done before the end of the fiscal year, so that's why you see so many of them at this time. That hasn't always taken place, but that's our direction.
Right, so this one is for the next several are for the truck, right?
No, this.
Or, sorry, no, this is just for the, right.
Yeah, this particular one is for water sewer
Hydrant
usage in
usage,
city
isn't it?
buildings. Yeah.
This is for unmetered water sewer usage, the 4,000. The next one is for hydrant usage.
All right, hang on.
But
See which one I want
effectively, it's to, transfer to the correct account to make the audit whole
Correct.
Okay,
for the
anything else?
benefit of the public.
Okay, can I get roll call, please?
Commissioner O'Brien. Yes. Commissioner Rurick.
Yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, on 10D, the resolution 005-2024, fund transfer from general fund to the water sewer fund. Can I have a motion to approve this resolution 005-2024? It's a resolution to approve the fund transfer from the general fund to the water sewer fund in the amount of $10,000.
Make a motion that we approve resolution number 005-2024 to transfer funds from the general fund to the water sewer fund in the amount of $10,000 for hydrant usage.
Support.
Any further discussion? Your roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Rurick.
Yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yep.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion carried.
On to 10E, and that's the resolution 006-2024. That's the fund transfer from the general fund to the capital improvement fund. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 006-2024? That's the resolution to approve the fund transfer, general fund to capital improvement fund in the amount of $3,700.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 006-2024, fund transfer from the general fund to the capital improvement fund in the amount of $3,700.
Support?
Okay, and discussion.
This is the one for the dump truck, and several to follow that combine to appropriate the correct amount of funds to fund this dump truck. So, again,
Yep.
for the benefit of the public. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
Commissioner Rurick.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, on to 10F, the resolution 007-2024, the fund transfer from local street fund to capital improvement fund. Can I have the motion to approve resolution 007-2024, that resolution to approve the fund transfer from the local street fund to the capital improvement fund in the amount of $37,500, and that goes to the new dump truck restricted fund.
Correct. Different account.
Make a motion we approve resolution number 007-2024, fund transfer from local street fund to the capital improvement fund in the amount of $37,500.
Support?
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, again, this one's just from the local street fund to the same capital improvement fund for the same vehicle.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
Commissioner Rurick.
Yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, On to 10G, that's Resolution 008-2024. That's the fund transfer from the Major Street Fund to the Capital Improvement Fund. Can I have a motion to approve Resolution 008-2024? That resolution to approve the fund transfer from the Major Street Fund to Capital Improvement Fund in the amount of $37,500, and that's again to go to the new dump truck restricted funds.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 008-2024, the fund transfer from the Major Street Fund to the Capital Improvement Fund in the amount of $37,500.
Support.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
Commissioner Rourke.
Yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, on to 10H, that's Resolution 009-2024, fund transfer from the Water Sewer Fund to the Capital Improvement Fund. And can I have a motion to approve that resolution, 009-2024? That's the resolution to approve the fund transfer for the Water Sewer Fund to the Capital Improvement Fund in the amount of $37,500, and again, towards that new dump truck in the restricted funds.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 009-2024, fund transfer from Water Street Fund to the Capital Improvement Fund in the amount of $37,500.
Support.
Okay.
Water Sewer Fund.
I stand corrected.
Okay, any-
It just say straight.
And then any further discussion?
Sorry, Jake.
It's all good.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Clausen. Yes. Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
Commissioner Rourke.
Yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yep.
Motion carried.
Okay, on to 10I, and that's to receive the fiscal year 24-25 proposed budget, and then that's what we have here at our binders. I believe I just need a receive and file on that?
Yes, actually, it would just be a motion to receive.
Okay.
And then this will be subject to following provisions of the city charter, and also establishes the first step, or next step will be the budget workshop scheduled for next week, the 11th, beginning at 6 p.m. And if I can just add, this is a balanced budget, as you'll see, and also it includes no increase to the millage rate, which is very, very important.
Excellent.
I was hoping to just receive and file it, but I guess I'll read it.
We won't let you file it yet.
Yeah,
No
not filing yet.
Receiving and reading. All right.
And thank you. Make a motion to receive the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget as prepared.
Support.
Okay, motion the support. Any further discussion? All-
Again, thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. On to 11, unfinished business. 11A, engineering firm discussion and selection consideration. And did you want to go over
Yeah.
that process a little bit?
Sure. Again, for the public who may not be aware of the process, the city did solicit requests for qualifications and proposals for engineering services for consideration and selection of an engineer of record for the city to perform a multitude of tasks. The requests were sent out and received. There were 7 respondents that replied, all very qualified firms. Independent review committee was set up to pull the top 3 of the proposals most suited for the city to be interviewed by the city commission. City commission did conduct interviews of the 3 firms and were given an opportunity to ask a number of questions, very extensive interview process, and then to choose either by commission scores, or if commissioner had a selection of one firm over the other. There were a multitude of ways that could be done. The scores were tabulated, put together with an average, and was provided to the commission in an order of the highest score. They were all, I believe all 3 were very good candidates, provided great interviews, and you have before you this evening the opportunity for discussion and hopefully a recommendation. I did put in the memo there'd be a recommendation to instruct the attorney to prepare a contract. In the cases of engineers, that is incorrect. It's usually not a contract. What it is an engagement of services, and that is based upon their fee schedules that were provided as well. And engineering services, usually project by project, we get an individual budget that is approved for the project. So we do have general miscellaneous, but it's not a contract, it's an engagement of services as an engineer of record. With that, Mayor, I open it up to the commission for discussion, and we'd be glad to answer any questions. And I provided you information again of the scoring. I will note, and I think I had indicated in an email, if any of the commissioners wanted to view all of your scoring criteria, I have them here, but those numbers are placed in this. And I apologize, there was a revision because I had superimposed some numbers. They're corrected, they've been checked, double-checked, rechecked, and what you have color-coded is the scoring.
Thank you.
So I can give you a couple impressions I got. I went through the proposals again, just kind of reflecting on the interview responses. Obviously, they're three very highly qualified firms, so I have to admit I was looking for minor little things because that's the only way I could really figure out how to differentiate between the three. And for two of them, I have, again, minor concerns. For BMJ, I have two. The first is with their limited, I love the fact that they're local, but with their limited staffing, I do have a concern about them being timely and being able to turn around the work in the time frame we need it. So that it, again, it's a minor concern, but it is out there, at least in the back of my brain. And then the second one is, I know they said that they were going to subcontract out some of the things that weren't their bread and butter, one of which was being anything other than a very simple structural engineering job. So again, when things starts getting subcontracted out, it's, yes, they're on the hook for it, but we're on the hook for the final product too, and it's going to a firm we may or may not know anything about. For F&V, the one thing that really, not a big red warning bell per se, but more like a little blinking amber one, is they have had a number of settled legal actions against them, which the other two firms did not. And for municipal work, it's not super common to see that. So, I mean, again, I have no clue what those settlements entailed. I don't know anything about the cases, but the fact that they have those legal actions and the other two don't, again, it's a minor thing, but it is there for me. So, I mean, my personal preference would be to go with Anderson, what's the name? Eckstein and Westrick. I mean, if anyone wants, I'd be happy to put it into a motion, or if we want to obviously chat about it some more, I mean, either way is fine with me.
It would be appropriate if you choose to do a motion and a support, and we can have additional discussion.
Yeah.
So I will make a motion to allow the city manager and city attorney to prepare a
Engagement of services.
engagement of services agreement with Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick.
Support.
And then do you need that in that motion to say to be brought back for final approval from the commission?
Yes.
Okay.
To be brought back to the commission for final approval.
Double support.
Double support. Okay, any further discussion?
Oh, Lisa, you want to see the contract?
Yes, I'd like to this time.
It's just an engagement of services.
Yeah, well, I'd still like to see that too.
Yeah, I mean, personally speaking, I'd like to thank all three firms for coming out and preparing such nice presentations. I was a fan of the local guy personally, but I understand, again, I said this to Scott multiple times, I think any of the three of them could serve our community well. And I understand the concerns that Commissioner Bryson has with the other firms, so.
Yeah, I too think any of the three would have been able to get the jobs done that we needed, but it was like Commissioner Bryson said, and we said at the last meeting, there was just kind of particular things about each one that we noticed or had concerns or liked more than the others. So that just entailed in our scoring.
And how did they score? Can you?
Yeah, I was just going to ask if I could detail the score. So the maximum scoring was 30 points. When I took all of the scores from each of the commissioners and averaged them, which was the simplest way, Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick had an aggregate average score of 28.66. BMJ had an aggregate of 24.83, and Fleece and Vandenbrink had an average of 26.5. So they were all each within 2 and 2 and 2, which is very, again, I think supports everything that you've all said. They're very qualified firms. But again, the lead from the top, it is 2 points plus on the average, being the top score. And fairly consistent across all of the commissioners, with that being mostly the number one choice from each.
I will say from the scoring process, I expected to score BMJ higher. And part of this was I was really taken by the presentation. I was really taken by the local knowledge, the observation of local engineering issues and needs, and how that would affect the work in a very positive way, I think. But a lot of the questions are geared towards capacity, scale, and kind of the robust, vastly different needs that the city is going to have in the future. And that's where those points differed, I think, in the biggest ways. And it was, I expected it to be a much more controversial vote, or, deadlock between us all over our choices, but those numbers were consistent. And I think that, that's pretty much how my scores worked out as well when I did it. And so the math is there, the considerations are there.
Any other discussion?
Just in the past, Scott, we had kind of retained 2, like we sort of had, what was the other one?
Actually had 3.
Yeah, you've had PCE and BMJ
PCE and BMJ,
doing
right.
various projects.
Yeah, you had a backup.
Right, because one was backed up. I mean, is that the type of thing we might do again, or we want to only enter a engagement of services with a singular one?
Yeah, I believe what happened in the past case, at least from what I've looked at, an observation is, we did have a previous engineer of record, which was PCE.
Right.
But in some cases, when PCE couldn't perform a certain task, then we went to a secondary engineer, which was one of the firms that had interviewed along with PCE in that. So I would imagine we'd follow the same route if, in this case, if AEW is your firm and they aren't able to do a certain task for whatever reason, we then have BMJ, F&V, who would no doubt still do a project for us based on their billable hours. We have relationships with them and have had in the past.
Okay.
And F&V is going to be doing a major project for us.
Right.
They're going to be here in town working on
Correct.
the safe drinking water project.
Plus, they take care of the water and sewer plant now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they operate our plant.
And as one commissioner had a concern, it provides some, flexibility or diversity in our engineering firms. You did mention that there are municipalities that have one firm that do everything, but,
Yeah,
I
and-
forget which commissioner had that concern.
And I've shared with you, I mean, I have literally worked with all but one of the firms that submitted, proposals here. That happens over time.
Sure.
All of them were very qualified firms, but I know that in a case that, we had a project and we had one of these firms under contract in another community I was at, but yet we had a specific individual need that they were not the best suited, admitted, and we went to another company to be able to do that task. That's very common in engineering, that they, certain company, their forte may not be in certain aquatic design or things like that. So that is common to have kind of that backup or diversity and those type of pieces.
Okay, but there's no need to recognize them? I mean, at one point, okay.
No, I think it becomes, and I kind of defer to the attorney a little bit, it becomes cloudy if you have an engineer of record and then you're having, the backup engineer of record.
Okay. I get that, but yeah, at some point we had put BMJ on as, a secondary.
Yeah, we have used
by resolution.
multiple
Or at least
engineering firms, and then those needs are generally then approved by the commission by specific project.
Okay.
This motion would require a roll call.
Everyone good? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
Commissioner Rourke.
What was the,
To engage AEW.
I didn't hear the specific, yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yep.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, on to 12, new business, and 12A, the M29, also Parker Street, temporary road diet lane marking, and I will refer to the city manager for this.
Shall we go on a little historical journey?
Yes.
I guess that's how I'll start.
Yes, please.
There has been quite a bit of discussion over a number of years concerning road traffic redesigns, reconstruction of various streets, connections of bridge to bay trails. Most of this occurred, of course, prior to me being here, but from my research looking at this, and first I want to apologize, this item should have likely been, and I didn't catch it, an unfinished business item B, because it had been discussed before. However, it's listed under new business, because there is a component to this that was a new business-ish. So going back primarily to 2022, there was a grant application that was prepared by the city and submitted for what is known as a TAP grant through Michigan Department of Transportation with the assistance of SEMCOG, our regional planning agency. That grant application was for consideration to make connections to the existing in-place bridge to bay trail system to be able to connect portions of our city together. It also had a reference for non-motorized bicycle and pedestrian path improvements, dealing with signalization, dealing with a shared bike path along portions of M29, primarily here on Parker, from roughly west Fairbanks Broadway, that corner curve to Chartier. The grant, again, was approved by the previous commission in September of 2022, was submitted, approved, and given to the city, just shy of $300,000 for this particular grant. There were some other coordinating grants that tied into this, through the Community Foundation, through the Wilson Foundation, the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, that would deal with connective points of non-motorized paths to the new marina development, to downtown business district. So a lot of stacking and piecing of grants, which is very common. But the root of this grant, the transportation grant, the TAP grant, was primarily for bicycle-oriented connectivity. Over the time of this, once that grant was awarded, some initial design discussion occurred. PCE was actually engaged and approved by the City Commission to be the engineer to work on the project. Started some initial work in spring of 2023. There was some work done through the course of that spring. And then, of course, that was at a time where there was change with administration. The project kind of languished. So July, August of 2023, MDOT started discussion about a larger reconstruction project of M29, which is anticipated to be in 2025-26. So discussion from the MDOT perspective was about road diets. That seems to be, road diets and roundabouts seem to be the flavor of the day when it comes to MDOT discussions. And I won't vary on opinions or things like that. It's just kind of the flavor of the day. We were approached by SEMCOG here not that long ago to get an update of the grant, the TAP grant. That's where the discussion kind of morphed in, building back the history and looking at where we're at. Myself and Mr. Schmidt from the DPW reached back out to MDOT because we weren't quite sure, one, where they were on the status of any planning and timeframe for the M29 redevelopment project. The discussion came up about the road diet, which again, I believe had morphed into that early engineering discussion, but nothing was ever brought to the commission or approved. So I want to clarify that tonight, that's not the purpose of this, is to look for any approval or things either. We had asked a question of MDOT, similar to what was done in St. Clair at one point. There was a temporary striping that was done. A lot of questions in history and maybe some unanswered ones on that from the St. Clair side of things. And we were just trying to test the waters again with the question of MDOT. Is this something that you would consider if this is something that the community wants to do? And that initial answer was, well, yes, we would consider that. Ironically, after this agenda went out yesterday, there was a follow-up phone call from the regional manager in MDOT that said, oh, by the way, our discussion on this, we no longer have any funding. So if the community wishes to do any striping, even on a temporary basis, it's on your dime. That's a game changer, but there's a bigger game changer. I think that part of this, and I do want to share with you, this discussion is something that I think we may want to have, the commission may want to have, to a larger degree with new engineers coming on. But I think that the discussion of road diet isn't the only answer, and I'm just giving you my opinion on this. There are other ways. The state of Michigan, the traffic codes allow for bicyclists, along with most states, to ride on the roadway legally. They can ride with traffic in the same lane of traffic, same direction. And a road diet works in some cases in some communities and doesn't work in others, may be supported by residents, may not. There's a lot to it. It is more costly. But we also have a second option that I don't believe was really discussed, and in thinking through this in the last 24 to 48 hours and more, road sharing. Bicyclists, again, are allowed to ride on the lanes of traffic now. So if we can, you're in a delicate situation that you don't want to lose a grant that's tied to so many other grants, but you also don't, I believe, want to be hamstrung to doing things that maybe your community doesn't want done, or the commission, or have changed. And I think since the beginning of this in 2022, there have been a lot of communities that have looked at road diets, again, where they may work, some that they don't work, and now we're starting to look at, can we still do integrations of this bicycle, interaction on a public street? So what I gave to you is there's figure 1 that shows kind of just an image of what a regular road diet looks like. This is not M29, but it's very similar. But down below that, what something that is known as road sharing looks like. And again, it's just a painting on the surface of the road that indicates, and it's called the Sharrow, by the way, if anybody's not familiar. It's a creative little name, sharing arrows, Sharrow. It didn't take maybe an engineer did that, I don't know. But it just marks on the existing pavement, saying to the driver of a car, by the way, bicycles also can and will likely travel on this same roadway. Be aware, followed by signage, and there's an example, share the road. I don't think there was a lot of discussion on this because there was a stalled period of time where there really was no discussion. Yeah. So I just shared this with you because I don't think that necessarily, perhaps MDOT needed an answer for their planning, and maybe they wanted to look at where the city's at. We're not there, and we didn't have discussion of other options. So I would recommend that once we have our new engineers on board, that we have discussion. We still do have an agreement with PCE, who did initial engineering on this, that those parties come together, have a discussion, and look at alternative options to a road diet, and more importantly, preserve the integrity of the grant and pivot perhaps the difference in cost that was allocated for the grant that may have been used for road dieting to address the existing pedestrian crossings, the signalization that does not work, looking at maybe alternate side pieces, Ward Street connectivity, other things that just maybe initially weren't involved in the conversation, but make sense to have involved. But we have a relatively short time period, meaning months. We have a few months. But I don't think, and initially I was trying to respond to asking MDOT, would you do this? Would you look at this? But there are other alternatives that we should probably look at and discuss that may not have been, and actually I think fairly say weren't on the table before. And the ride share component on an existing roadway may be one of those that's very palatable to us, because the limited conversation that I had coming on board here a year ago with Chief Eslip as we met with PCE was, we have conflicts at the Broadway Fairbanks curve near West, and we have a conflict of a road that narrows abruptly at Chartier. What do we do? Well, that may not be road diet friendly, but that may be road share friendly, because again, folks are able to be on these roads. So I think we need more time. I would ask that this be tabled and be deferred to more engineering discussion, and then have a presentation back with options to the commission in the future that we can look at. And again, you know, there may be other pieces that I'm not aware of that engineers are using in other communities.
Before anybody tables this, if we go back to this, when this came up for the bike path issue and it was to route it through downtown, and MDOT was here, and they said, and we even approved maps eventually of the route of where the bicycle lanes will be with the traffic and where they won't. Parker was not included in that plan. She said that we could do it, we had time, it would be done at a different date, that we would have meetings with the public, that we could decide if we didn't want to do it, we didn't have to do it, but it was not included in those plans that we approved before. I mean, we have a bike path right next to here. We have good side streets. Yes, the curve was a mess. They were putting the crosswalk right in the middle of the curve and narrowing it down right there. They resolved that by bringing them right up to West Boulevard at the light, taking them through the light, down West Boulevard to Bell River, and across at the bridge. That was the approved route to get away from that curve and make that whole issue. So we never got into this because it was supposed to come back to us some other day, and it's not a popular thing with the people for along Parker. I mean, we have so many side streets, we have ways to get around. I ride a bike all the time. I would not ride on this highway. I don't care what they think on here with the distracted driving. I'll stay on the side streets, it's safer. And again, we have a bike path right here that runs along here. But yes, they were supposed to bring this back to us. It was not supposed to be included in this grant, and they were supposed to bring it back to us and let us have meetings on it with the public and then later decide, and none of that happened.
When you spoke with MDOT, did they give you did they pull funding for the entire M29, rework, or just?
No, they're still trying to get the M29 project, the reconstruction program, into their budget, which would be in the future fiscal year. And I think part of this is they were looking at a design piece. But again, I mean, I agree with Commissioner Hendrick. There was a reference in the TAP grant.
Yep.
That referred to this stretch of road. I think that it probably, and I can only guess, this probably was more of a discussion because MDOT's dealing with this in multiple communities. Yep. Would the city like to do this? I think there are alternative options to look at, and that is what we really need to talk and address. Not to mention we all know that we have crosswalks put in that are not functional. We know that the standards have changed. I mean, it's also prioritization of saying, hey, in this grant, we need these things fixed before we go to these pieces. And that really has come around since 2022 when this was put on the table. So I don't think there was anything, I'm going to use a favorite word that our clerk likes, nefarious about this. I just think that MDOT is doing this in a number of communities, and when they do state trunk line reconstruction, especially in an area that's condensed in downtowns or a commercial district, this is often something that's done. I believe that's why there was an ask, but again, there are other components and things to look at. And again, Commissioner, as you mentioned, safety, everybody takes their own choice of what the safest piece is. People can ride on the road. If nothing else, it probably makes sense for us to incorporate into any reconstruction on M29, share the road pieces, because it can be done. And some extra markings would help, because people are certainly not paying attention.
We approved a map.
Yeah.
We approved a map to come up West Boulevard, cut across, go over the bridge, go down Broadway, go through downtown, come back Bridge Street, up to Chartier, down and around.
Yeah.
We already approved all that. It had nothing with the 4 lanes of Parker in that map.
And I looked and I started digging information, and I did find the map that you were talking about. And the irony of this is looking at the application and looking at what was approved from MDOT, I mean, they clearly said shared use path on M29.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to see our community lose a grant. Can we restructure and look at alternatives? If this doesn't work for us, it's not the preferred choice. What can we do to retain, MDOT's chunk of money, which is almost $200,000 of this grant, to make the other things
Yeah.
happen.
The shared part was supposed to be down Broadway and through downtown and Raleigh. I mean, that was
But
the
we-
shared.
To keep the grant on track, we were thinking that the shared road just requires marking. It's
And
already
signs.
allowed.
They can do it.
They can do it right now.
Yeah.
And we would just formalize the relationship. And that would keep the grant in place and we wouldn't change anything else.
Yeah, that's why we approved that
Right.
other map.
Right.
And
So
then
the
let's-
other map would stand.
Yeah.
But we would just mark the road, hey, be careful, this is a shared road.
Right.
So from an engineering perspective, though, the sharrows are less effective than the full road diet, right?
Yes.
The idea is that you're slowing down traffic. You need to make people safer, you need to change hearts and minds about what that piece of roadway is used for. It's 3/4 of a mile. It doesn't need to be a raceway. That's what it turns into right now. If we keep it one lane each way and make a center turn lane, the sharrows would not provide you with a turn lane, it would provide you with a place where bikes could potentially get hit if people are turning right, or as they're trying to go around somebody and make a left, a car, trying to go around a bike could get in their way. So what I would urge is that we allow this new engineering firm, if we can finish this engagement of services in a timely manner and get a new engineering firm involved. I would love to hear their opinion on this, because I've talked with a lot of road engineers and engineers in general about these types of things, and a ton of cyclists. And it's really changing hearts and minds in terms of, again, this is a 3/4 of a mile stretch of road. It doesn't need to turn into a raceway. We are not going to cause immense traffic jams because, somebody has to go 25 on that road instead of 35. Again, it's safety for our kids. There's a ton of crosswalks there. Getting the cars to slow down in that area, which would be 15 seconds or so out of somebody's day. I know it's tough as a driver to envision this because you just want to get there quickly. And you just want to be able to turn into wherever you want to go without, looking out for a cyclist. But it's that funneling people into a single lane, keeping them there, focused on what's ahead of them, and, keeping a separate lane for bikes, keeping a separate lane for left turns, that really makes these things safest. And I've spoke at length with MDOT engineers too, who have professed the success of road diets. That resulted in a lot of the initial conversations we had about these crosswalks, right? Again, it's a different story from what you understood, Lisa, but what the, MDOT representative told me regarding the crosswalks was that it was an unapproved piece of equipment, so they pulled all that out. I know it's,
The city has a letter.
I know.
So that's.
Anyway, but be that as it may, I definitely would personally like to see our new engaged engineering firm provide their opinion on this. And the last that I recall of the maps we approved, and there was a meeting in there where I was ill, but it had just the beginning of Parker, not the main straight stretch, and maybe some integration towards Chartier, because that Chartier is where the Beta Bridge ends, right? And then it forces you over. And then if you want to go down M29, or if you want to go to Algonac, rather, it forces you down M29. But, yeah.
One of the things, though, with the road diet, let's face it, St. Clair, let's look at it. I've been stuck in those backups, especially when the bridge is going. And the other thing with where they put the bike lanes, the other thing I've noticed, the only people that are using those bike lanes, especially up on certain areas where the houses are the lawn cutting businesses and all the delivery guys. They're parked in those lanes continually. It didn't do anything. And the other thing with these road diets, when you channel, this is the only area where people can get around people that like to poke and like to slow down. And I'm not saying they go fast. I don't think 35 is fast. But if you make it so that now you create more people that get aggravated because they can't get around somebody. So now you get the road rage issue. I hate to say it, but you start getting the road rage issue with that type of situation. We have plenty of places for the bicyclists. there's a street straight over from this road that's so much safer to go on, 3rd Street. It goes the whole length, or this bike path. But to narrow this down, to me, you're going to have more problems because I've seen it in St. Clair. That bike lane on the one side when you're going south and before you get to the bridge, everybody uses that bike lane to get into the turn lane. Constantly, the cars are going through there, and so that bike lane is dangerous if you ask me. So I know they say these things, but when you start visualizing it and you see what happened in St. Clair, I guess I'm just not buying the road diet.
Yeah, I bike through St. Clair all the time, and I absolutely love it. But,
And I hate it.
well,
I've had almost accidents there every time I go through that town. And I see the same thing we get at West Boulevard and 29 here, is I drive in the right lane so I can get by the people lining up to turn onto West Boulevard. And my wife always goes, "Why are you doing it?" I said, "Because I'm going to be parked behind all these cars that are trying to make a left-hand turn, and why can't I just go through here and then I move over when I get past the light?"
yeah, so you'd have a center turn lane where you wouldn't be in their way at all.
Yeah, but you're cutting a lane down.
Yep.
And we got a bike path that we've been fighting for a long time to get it in, and now it's in, and it's run parallel to the road. So we just keep stacking bike paths, okay, we want a bike path to get them downtown. We want a bike path to get them to the marina. We want a bike path to get them to the VGs. How far do we go? When we already got it, we've already accommodated them with straight through where they're not gonna get hit by it.
Yeah.
So you have 6 or 7 crosswalks on that road, and you want people to go faster there, and
I didn't
for
say
double the
I didn't say
traffic
anything about
flow
faster.
to be there.
I didn't say anything about faster.
The-
I drive the same speed,
Sean.
but when I get up to that area, I move over to the right lane, because these people are turning here. And my wife says, "Well, why aren't, you're gonna turn here?" So I get over to the right lane.
This is heading north, yeah?
Yes.
Right, so you'd have a center turn lane,
And then when you get past there, it tapers down by Hungry Howie's.
right, so you wouldn't have that issue anymore.
Commissioner Vargas got,
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I like to think of the road diet like urban renewal. Everybody said it was a good idea, and we didn't do it here, thank God, unlike Algonac and St. Clair. So we preserved that. But to talk about the bike paths, I suggest you look at YouTube, and there's all these people on there talking about the painted line in the road doesn't do us any good. It's not safe until they put up those little barrier things to keep. Because on Parker here, there's driveway, street, driveway. Everybody's turning right or left. And I don't know if the left lane, you're going to have the people in the middle. Everybody's going to be trying to jockey to turn left because there's so many places that people are turning in and out of. It's not like we got to park along here and everybody's cruising really nice and all that. There's just too many driveways, too many streets all coming in to narrow it down. And I never see that much traffic. I mean, there's a little more now than there was during COVID, but there's not that much traffic. And I seldom see people speed down there, unless maybe it's in the middle of the night. But we have a bike path, a couple 100 feet that runs parallel all the way. Now, if they wanted to do something, they could improve that, maybe make it wider or add more signs, like here's a store here where you can go buy water or something like that. But I think you're going to get a lot more frustration. I mean, people don't signal now, so how are those guys in the bike lane going to know you're turning? Because half the time they just turn. They don't stop at stop signs, so I don't see how you're going to get them to pay attention to something in the road, especially when it's snowed or something and all that's covered up. And how often are we going to have to repaint those things in the road?
Yeah.
I like the road sharing. I've seen it in other places, even up along the river road. That's the thing. But for us in this area to do that, I just don't see the point of it. And I think it'd be more dangerous. And a lot of the bikers say that too, that it's more dangerous, and especially really congested areas. It's not so much when you're out farther and you've got a lot of room and stuff, but in congested, I mean, you think of all the people there, most people drive in the left lane because everybody in the right lane is turning, right? And then you can get around them, but if you have one lane, it's not gonna work. You're gonna have a lot of frustration.
If I may, I think it's really easy for us to have an experience on a roadway just as humans, as people in Marine City, or whether it's in a car or as a pedestrian or as a bike, and have that shape our understanding. If we happen to see someone speeding or cutting a turn that they shouldn't, we then kind of get focused on that's where a problem is, or that's where a problem is not. I would like to see some numbers on what sharrows do in a community over a period of time. Because to go back to something that was said earlier about changing hearts and minds, is all of this is, it changes over time as a community learns and gets used to the new traffic changes. And that doesn't happen within a year or 2 years, that some of this has been here for. We need to understand how this affects a community over a long period of time. I don't know what kind of studies are out there on this. It's all new to me. But that's what I would like to see, and see how it affects accident rates. Not just, I don't want to just hear from bikers speak on YouTube, because that's easily can bring me into echo chambers, where it can be very real anecdotes for people, but it may not be the wide trend, it may be the loudest trend. And so I want to see data collected. There's got to be data out there from other communities that have done this, both with road diets, both with sharrows, and it gives us maybe something more tangible that we can compare and think through.
Scott, is it possible if, would we meet the timing of the grant and everything else to be able to have an engineering firm look at this?
Yeah, so I have a suggestion, if one of you would be willing. And again, I didn't want to remove this from the agenda because of the MDOT notification yesterday. I think we needed to have this initial dialogue, but my recommendation is perhaps if the commission would entertain a motion to table the road diet temporary paving marking and engage the city's engineering firm or firms, because we would likely still have to have PCE involved. They still are under contract, by the way, from this project. But to engage the city's engineering firms to review options and present findings to the city commission at a future meeting. And again, I think they could do this in a rather expedient format, and for all the commissioners, I'd be able to address the pieces and the concerns that you've brought up. How do sharrows work versus road diet? How does the integration work in our specific setting? What options are there? What are the findings in other communities? They're going to know the best practices. The engineers have that data and can bring it back to us. I think that, again, the way the direction was set before is here's the larger project. MDOT saying, listen, we're doing road diets in other communities. Would you think about looking at it? Sure, we'll look at it. From an engineering perspective, there's more to look at. So that's kind of my thought. We just have to do some action on this, but moving forward, the temporary marking is not an option for us now as of yesterday, but we have other questions that have come up today to look at. It doesn't mean it's not an option in the future, it's just not an option for us today.
And we need to get the public's input on this regardless of what MDOT.
Well, like Sean said, we should have the engineers bring studies and.
True, but I still want to hear from the public here.
Right.
Because we've lived through it
Eventually.
already,
Eventually.
through one community, that's already been there, a couple years? And-
But
and-
we should probably get the public involved when we know what we're thinking.
Once these recommendations and discussions are held from the engineers with the commission, then the commission can decide this is the route that we want to go. We want to have a town hall. We want to do this. We don't want to do this. I think we'll drill down to that point.
And I'd like to see a full package of, once the engineers review it, what are all of our alternatives? What are all of our choices to still maintain this grant? But maybe not necessarily do the road diet, maybe do the sharrow. What else do we have? Because like you said, and then we can also focus on
Right.
crosswalks and other things.
And really, what SEMCOG and MDOT are looking for right now is that we are still willing to keep this TAP grant. If not, we need to move on that. And I will just caution you, if you give up a grant, let's try to modify it first, because if you give up a grant, you likely never get that grant again. It's just the way that it is. So, yeah, more dialogue, more discussion, and review of data and facts is the best practice.
Yeah, we'd keep all the stuff down Water Street, we'd keep all the stuff on the side streets,
Yeah.
which those were sharrows, by the way, but that street isn't wide enough to support a center turn lane as part of that. Well, yeah. Anyway, and yeah, in the map that we approved, or that I approved anyway, it wasn't the straight part of M29. That was said, that's a future thing, that's part of whatever MDOT might do with the road diet or whatever when they do their improvements.
And I really believe that's how the discussion that we're having tonight came to be. They're looking at planning and designing a future, road rehabilitation. That's probably why the question came back going, hey, where are you at on this? Because if we're going to design this project, you have a TAP project, do we need to put that into the bigger design? That's how I think it really came to be.
Okay, just one clarification though, really quick. Because of their delay, or you're just saying they just don't have the funding to do the temporary?
They don't have the funding to do the temporary. That is, their budget has been expended for this year, and the new budget doesn't start till October 1st for any pavement markings. So the TAP grant, that's reserved and set aside in the amount that was approved.
Can you get what that amount was to do the temporary?
We probably can't, they didn't give us a number, but I'm sure MDOT has a number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
like
they
to
know
hear what their number
it's
was.
this much space, and this is how much it is. We can get that.
Yeah, we never got anything in writing about the
Right.
temporary and.
No.
Yeah, I think they were just asking, is there an interest, and then they would put this together, but now, they said, don't even bother doing that, we don't have any funding left this year. But they should give us a ballpark of what that cost would have been.
Yeah, and it would be nice if they would fix the lights and the corner
For sure.
chartier with the trucks. I mean, to me, that's
All
a
right.
bigger issue.
So you're looking for a motion to table this, get the
Yes.
engineers, get all of our alternatives together, then come back to a future meeting?
Yes.
Right.
And again-
And present to the public as well, maybe have public hearings, all this.
Yeah, I think there may be a two-step
Yeah,
process,
I
reporting to the commission
Yeah.
of what they find, which again is at a public meeting, and then, based on how the commission feels, do we go to a specific town hall or workshop or those things?
Okay.
But M29, in the 25-26 timeframe, they still are looking at a resurfacing.
That is the information we've been given, yes.
Okay.
Still looking at a resurface.
Is that why they want to know what we want to do? Because when
Yeah.
they paint
Yes.
it, then,
Right, they don't want to mark it twice, they don't want to have to do any other
wanna do
changes,
anything.
which
Yeah, that
makes
makes
a
sense.
practical sense. but-
And then they got repairs in front of the fire station. They got a sewer grate that's sinking.
Right.
It's cold patched and it's still sinking, and we just don't want our fire trucks going through that, so.
There's a manhole cover I hit every time heading north too.
We already
right?
called on that.
Okay,
There's
good.
two of them, actually, yeah. We called again, let's put it that way.
So we just need a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table the temporary road markings in relation to the road diet until the city engineering firms can provide us with, can study the issue and provide us with possible paths for going forward.
Support.
Any further discussion? Is that all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries. Under 13, administrative reports, 13A, the city attorney report.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 13B, the city manager report.
He's good too, thank you.
Yeah. I will be brief. I just have one thing. I know that most of you knew about the blue light project that was conducted here earlier this week for autism awareness. The city participated by changing our lights here at the front of City Hall, some downtown parks, and lighting the lighthouse. It was great to see the support from the community for this Autism Awareness Day. And I appreciate everybody's involvement and what they were able to do. So that's all I have for you.
Actually, quick question. Oh, I'm sorry, do you have something?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually Autism Awareness Month. Are you going to keep them up for the whole month?
Yeah, we're going to keep them up, but specifically in Marine City, they took a day that they wanted everybody to do that to
Sure.
kick it off.
Second, right,
Yeah,
was the
but
day.
yes, it is Autism Awareness Month on larger scale. And we're not changing
We're
them.
going to leave ours up.
We did have them Easter egg colored the day before, though,
Yeah.
anyway.
Good deal. And then one question, and we have a historical commission meeting coming up, but the historically contributing properties list within the nautical mile district, which was, an activity that the historical commission was working on. Is there an opportunity still to integrate that either into the master plan or at least make mention of it in the master plan?
It can still be integrated. The master plan should be coming to your April 18th agenda for accepting the master plan and officially beginning the 63-day required review process. During that time, modifications and changes can still be made.
Okay.
So what does your list do?
It just identifies buildings that the Historical Commission has seen as historically contributing. It just says, we feel that this is a thing that adds to our city's charm. That's all it says. It doesn't say don't change it. It doesn't even say don't tear it down, but it at least recognizes it as, we think that this is something that really contributes to our city's charm. Please don't just
So
tear
it
down.
doesn't layer over a regulation, it's just an acknowledgement. right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an acknowledgement.
We can
It's a
get
great
that
way
in.
to put it.
We can get that in there.
Okay. And it was all in relation to the one building along Water Street that was torn down. So, that was years ago at this point, but anyway, thank you.
And then, I don't want to bring it up, MDOT again. At the meetings, that bridge is on their radar for repair.
Well, it's on the radar. We don't have any definitive answers on repair of the bridge yet, but we have regularly been in their ear about the deteriorating and continuing to deteriorate condition of that bridge. Literally, chunks of concrete missing from the bottom.
Rebar
And
sticking
we're
out,
concerned about the road,
see-through.
the bridge decking as well, so.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff Schmidt again has been regularly bringing this up and trying to get answers, and we are actually to the point that if we are not getting an answer very soon, we are elevating it up and up and up until we get an answer, because it's becoming critical. And we do know, the one piece we do know, it is not on any of their lists for the next 2 fiscal years for any bridge work on this bridge, and that's what we're trying to change, is to get an inspection, get an update, and get it on the list.
Thank you.
It wouldn't be included in any of that federal transportation money? I mean, it's that part of the state got a lot of money,
I
right?
think it could be, but MDOT did not include this
So
specific
that
bridge
Might be
in
something to push for.
their
Which is
list.
important because the other bridge that we have is not rated for all the trucks.
Yeah.
Right.
And when they close that one down, yeah. So what kind of damage is it gonna do to the other bridge?
Right.
Yeah.
Might be
It's on our
wise, it might be wise if you started documenting your inquiries so that
Yeah,
you're
we-
you're
and we
not,
do have
you're
a-
not a community who is doing nothing. You've been asking and asking.
And that decking was, the last time that decking was done was just after McDonald's was built.
Right.
And, because the Dairy Queen was concerned when, that was gonna hurt their business at the time. Yeah, that's how long it's been. Wow. So,
Yeah, we're-
and that
we're
was
even-
just the decking. They didn't do anything
Yeah,
else
yeah,
to
yeah.
it, just the
We're,
deck.
we're even trying to get the history of the bridge inspection reports, and we're having that difficulty.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a bad one.
We should start documenting our efforts.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, on to 13C, reports from department heads. Fire chief, anything? All right,
Just bring our expired smoke detectors to the fire hall?
okay,
If I may approach the podium, Madam Mayor.
absolutely.
All right.
hand me the bell, you got 5 minutes.
Start the timer.
And go.
I do have a few updates for you this evening. I'm going to start kind of with a little presentation for the public here as well regarding Granicus and our new meeting minutes and agendas. Just want to clarify kind of where you can find this stuff on our website. It did move. I mentioned this in my annual report that it did move locations on there. The easiest we could do right now with what we're working with on the website front, which is not very user-friendly. Working on that project with the city manager right now to try to update that and get something new in the works, easier functioning, better transparency for the public. But to get there for the public on this agendas and minutes here, right on our homepage, click this little bubble here, agendas and minutes. And if you click that, it takes you to, confusing me, I can't see. It takes you to any upcoming events here at the top. So if you click on this one, this is for the city commission tonight. If you click on the agenda, it opens just the agenda for this evening. There. And then if we go back and we click on the agenda packet, you'll notice that you can see the entire packet here for the commission meeting. So you can scroll through that. It also has the bookmarks on the side for your cover pages, individual items, and so forth. When you scroll down, the only thing in this area for minutes and agendas is going to be anything since we started Granicus, which was the second meeting in February. So any past events are going to be down here at the bottom. And you'll see more of the boards and committees here as we go. 300 Broadway was the first one outside of the city commission to start using Granicus. So you'll see this here in past events. We had one on the 25th. You can go through there, click it by the years. And then just to show you an example of where the minutes are, if we go to city commission, we can go back to February 15th, and right in this middle column here, you'll see the minutes. As soon as they're approved, they will be published. And again, click on that, and your minutes are there to view, also with a clickable link to get to the YouTube full video, full audio. So it's in a little bit different spot, and Commissioner Hendrick, I spoke with her earlier this evening as well. To get to older agendas and minutes, you can get to it from this page. It's at the bottom. So if you scroll all the way down past this iframe of the new Granicus platform, if we go back to City Commission, we'll just use that as an example. We still go back all the way to 2018. So you'll notice on 2024, March 7th is the last one. That's kind of when we went live with Granicus for these meetings. So that's the last one that's on there. We don't post them anymore. It's redundant, in my opinion, to post them with Granicus. Try to get them on there as well. Still available in city offices if anybody likes a copy or needs a copy. But to go back, I know there's some members in the audience that will probably like this feature. At the top of this page here, minutes and agendas, you see this box here, you can get email updates. So if we go through and we put an email address in, I'm just going to use mine so I can walk you through this. Put that in and you hit submit. It won't bring you to this page because I did this earlier. It's going to bring you to another page. It's going to ask you to confirm your email address. You do not have to put a password in. It's going to ask you for a password. You do not need it. You have to fill in just your email address twice, fill in the CAPTCHA on the bottom, and then you'll see a list here. Every one of our boards, every one of our committees, every one of our commissions is in Granicus now. We're going to start using this here on forward. If you want to subscribe to any of these agendas, you will get an email notification when that agenda is published. If you want to select them all, click that box at the top, click submit, and you will get an email as soon as that agenda for that specific commission, board, committee is published. If you only want one or two, you select the ones you want them all, select that box at the top, but you will get those updates. I don't want to select any because I get enough emails as there is. And I'm the one that publishes them, so I know when they go out. And you will get a welcome email telling you, welcome to this. You're subscribed to these agendas or these packets here with which ones you're subscribed to. So I think it's a really cool feature for the public to be notified when they're out, when they're available, when they can look at them, and if they have any questions, they can contact the appropriate departments.
Yeah.
And any questions on that feature before I move on? Other lists? Yes.
Maybe a recommendation. Can't tell you to do anything, but if it would be possible to put the date ranges that each of the minutes contain. Does that make sense? You know how there's, for the Granicus ones, you could do February 2024 to present. In the name, just so that it's spelled out for anybody looking for minutes within a certain.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Are you talking
I'm
the
sorry.
search button?
No, on the previous page, when you clicked on agenda and minutes.
From here?
Yeah,
Okay.
Range to guide which section you use.
right, and then you scroll down.
Yeah.
Under those agendas.
Oh, put the date range.
Yeah,
oh,
put the
yes.
date range. So these agendas are from here to here.
Yes.
And then up in the other one, you could put that it.
We
this
know
is the
that it's-
date. Right,
yes.
and then in the top one, that this is gonna be only from this date to present.
I will
Does that
try.
make sense?
Yes. I will
it
try.
could be
Only-
clunky.
Yes.
I get
I
that.
think we can do that in here with this header, like agendas from, March 2024 to January of 2018, or however we word that. But yes, I will try to do that. Yes, we can.
Yeah, may not be able to do it in the Granicus portion because of the way they roll.
Right.
Bottom, and that would still be helpful.
The bottom, yes, would still be helpful. And you can also still get to it from the way you know, the previous way you did, if you go hover government and then go to city commission, CED, dangerous building, you can still get to these different, you know, agendas and minutes from there that you were used to on the side panel here as well. But all on one page, I think it's easier if we're here and we go to Granicus and then we want past, you know, we can even try to put a header in this area here of BG before Granicus minutes.
Yeah.
Something to that nature. But yes, I will work on that and see what we can do with adding that in there.
A recommendation only?
Yes.
Just,
Absolutely.
but, yeah, again, the applause was absolutely warranted. You've been done a really great job with
And
this.
it's a work in progress. We're still working out a few things, some details, but we'll get there day by day. Day by day. Any other questions on that? I just have a few more things and I'll wrap up.
I think,
You think you don't need a password for the subscription?
Yeah, it'll ask you for one. There's a password field, but you don't need to enter one.
You just click OK or whatever to bypass it.
Yeah, it's all in the same. It'll put your email address in, confirm it, and then there's a password field. Just skip over that, confirm the CAPTCHA at the bottom, and then just hit submit, and it'll take you to the next page.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no password required. Why they have it in there, I don't know. When I did my training, talked to the developers, they're like, why is it in there? I don't know. Can't tell you, but they put it in there. Not required. And it doesn't even have a red asterisk either, that it would be required, so just pass right on by it. Perfect. I like it. That was one of the good features of this, is you'll be able to subscribe to it. A couple other updates here. I attended the Clerks Institute, the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks Institute, last week in Mount Pleasant, a week-long 40-hour training session. Some really good stuff came out of it. Big talk on election stuff coming up, presidential election, August and November. And there's also an education day this coming Tuesday that I'll be attending, once again in Mount Pleasant. I wish they had stuff closer, but they just don't. Really focusing on early voting, going to be roundtable discussions from clerks around the state on issues with it, what they liked, what they didn't like, and also more emphasis on presidential election. And I think it's beneficial to attend these trainings and invest in, you know, our training as staff, and then we can bring that back to the community, and I only think it benefits everybody here in the long run. As I said, city manager and myself working on the new website project, as well as updating current phone systems or going with a new phone system. The technology is great, but it's improving every day, and there's always some better stuff out there. And the most appealing point for all of us is price point. And I think we're getting there when you have competition in the market, you know, looking at that either to keep one company honest, or if something's offered better and you get more features, I think we're better off. So still working on that. Hopefully we'll be bringing that to you here soon. Budget time coming up in the next couple months. Also, I wanted to mention too, I talked to our treasurer, and I just kind of want to point out where you can find the proposed budget on the website if anybody's interested in looking at that. If we hover over government, treasurer's department here, budget and audit information, and the proposed budget is the top one. Proposed fee schedule for 24-25 is the one right below it. So click on it, it'll open up, and City Manager Atkins has some.
I just, for those that don't want to look through an electronic format on the website, we have hard copy of the budget available here at City Hall for viewing, and this year, the library as well. So.
oh, very nice.
And also here you see this red banner. I was going to touch on this just a little bit too. Notification will be in the Times Herald on Saturday. We are having issues with updating our sign at the DPW, but it is on the website here. Anybody that has any decorations, winter decorations, flowers, grave blankets, etc., they will be removed from the graves in Woodlawn Cemetery on April 16th. So lot owners should remove any of those items they wish to retain prior to that date. And again, the notice will be posted in the Times Herald on Saturday as well. And last but not least, I forgot to mention this a couple meetings ago, but if I'm sure you guys have all noticed sitting up at the desk here, and maybe the public a little bit, thank you to Paul Dingaman, Channel 6, Matt Calabrese and his team. They rewired every microphone here after our election when we pulled everything away, cleaned it up, reduced the trip hazard. We put plugs in the wall, so now it's all, everything's centered down here around me. So I get all the vibrations and the radio frequencies and all that, but I'll take it. That's fine. But they did a great job. They were in here, had the work done in a couple days, and it cleans it up for all of us, and it makes it easier to function. It'll make it easier election time. Couple plugs, we move the tables, and we can come in here for elections, and they just did a great job. So I wanted to give a shout out to them. And last but not least, currently working on a few more details to work out on it. And I know it's been a wish of some commissioners, but we're looking to have the agendas on the TVs live during the meetings. We're looking at the best way to do it, and we think PowerPoint is probably the best. So if we convert our agenda into PowerPoint, we'll have a tablet up here connected to it, and we can just scroll through as we go through agenda items that you guys are discussing. The public can view it on the TV so they know what they're looking at. And I think the best thing for it is when we went to Granicus, you get a cover page for every agenda item, which outlines the details of that specific agenda item. And the public can look at it live as we're going. And if they have questions, it's there. You know, they have questions before, but they can see it live, what the commission is speaking of at that time. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Jason.
Yes.
Jason, could you post that on Facebook too?
The
Woodlawn?
Cemetery, yeah, absolutely.
Because most
Yes.
of them will see it there,
Yes,
you know.
we'll get that out. We'll hit the algorithm in the morning.
Yeah, thank you.
7 a.m. It's the best time to hit Facebook, when you get it all out to everybody. Any other questions?
No, thanks.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for-
you.
Thank you for all this.
Yeah,
Good work,
thank you,
My-
Jason.
my
That's
pleasure.
a lot of work, and
My pleasure.
appreciate that.
Better every day.
I try.
And on to 14 for Commissioner Privilege and Liaison Reports. And we'll start with Commissioner Clausen.
Well, we got a planning commission meeting coming up on, what is it here? The 8th, so we'll probably get some stuff and I can give you some more updates after that meeting. I don't know, the weather keeps changing, and they say some snow, they say this, just watch what you're driving, who's driving in front of you, and of course, look out for the bikes. Seems like when you look at the news, it's somebody crossing or riding a bike that got hit by somebody downtown Detroit. So, and they're gonna have their hands full with this thing that's coming up with them.
The draft.
So you have a good day and stay safe.
Thank you. Commissioner Bryson.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner O'Brien.
I do have a couple quick things to get through. Firstly, to the clerk, I want to thank you for the work both on getting Granicus up and running, the presentation to the public, and keeping all this straight. It's very enjoyable and makes being up here a lot easier. Appreciate it. And I want to thanks once again to the engineering firms that presented. There's exciting prospects all around, and I hope we get to find good opportunities for these companies. A couple other things. And Scott, maybe you can share a brief update. We are going to return to the marijuana ordinance in a future meeting. I think we've talked about this briefly, but there was concern that it's been off of our agenda for a while. And there was conflicting language within what we had, and so we had to get that straightened out, and that's why it hasn't returned yet. I think that's it for tonight.
Got a few things. One, mark your schedules to go see Mariner Drama's presentation of The Wizard of Oz on May 3rd and 4th. There'll be another meeting to re-announce that, but mark your calendars. And as Scott mentioned earlier, I was also glad to see so many blue lights around town for Autism Awareness Day, which was the 2nd, and the month of April is Awareness Month. And thanks so much to Tio Rika for bringing it to our attention in a previous meeting. And again, I applaud the city staff and Jason in particular for the upgrade to the software, minutes, website, everything else. Other commissioners call me. I've explored a lot of the extra features inside here, like you can, within the viewer that allows you to see all of the PDFs that are within there, you can highlight, you can mark up, you can circle things. It's very neat, and it's really handy for being able to see it during the meeting. So again, give me a call if you have any questions on functionality. I've played around with it a lot. To the public, as always, we are here to serve you. So please, please participate in democracy and contact us if you have any gripes, things to discuss, great ideas for this fair city of ours, things you'd like to see or not see. Please contact us. And that's it. Have a safe and wonderful weekend.
Right, Commissioner Roy.
I'd just like to thank Jason and Scott for all the new things they're doing with the agendas, that they're doing budgets at the library. These are good thoughts and good execution of keeping the public informed. And I wanted to note, I had a guest from out of town, and they noted the new street signs, especially downtown, and thought that was really nice. They really stood out, and it's a really good addition to the city. So thanks.
All right, Commissioner Hendrick.
The only thing I want to do is thank everybody. Last night was the Old Newsboys Pizza fundraiser we had down at Anita's. We had a packed house. The pizzas, as usual, were excellent from Anita's. Their staff was wonderful. Everybody that came there and supported the Old Newsboys, it was great to see. We had 3 hours. I mean, people ate a lot of pizza because it was all you can eat. So it went really well. We really appreciate all the support for the Old Newsboys. It means a lot to provide all that we do for the kids here every year. And we won't have anything, I don't think, going again till we start back up, not till October. But thanks again to everybody for all their donations and just attending. It was really a good turnout.
Thank you. All right, I just have a couple things here. There was a CD meeting on March 27th. We reviewed some redevelopment ready information on development review and essential goal planning. We came up with some project lists. Each member reviewed a few things that they'd like to see of the CED projects. And we also talked such things as advertising and marketing strategies through the board for the city. A few other things I like to say is I wanted to thank all of our employees for the city, our department heads, everybody that works for the city. They all do a great job, and we're very appreciative of that. Remember to light up blue for autism awareness this month. On Wednesday, April 24th, from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Goodalls County Park, there's a Blue Water Building Trades Fair. They do require advanced registration, and there are immediate employment interviews for our graduating seniors for anybody that wants to get into the trades. And that is actually presented by St. Clair County RESA, Michigan Works in LIUNA, which is the Laborers International Union of North America. There's a fundraiser for the Marine City Senior All-Night Party this weekend on Saturday, April 6th at the Fraternal Order of the Eagles on Palms Road in Ira Township. The Marine City Little League's having a fundraiser. They're doing cornhole Saturday night, the 6th at Vandy's out on Marine City Highway. And just a reminder that we have some businesses that are participating and called Let's Get Late in Marine City. And they are staying open later on Thursday evenings for people to come and do shopping a little bit later in the evening in some of those establishments that normally close a little bit earlier.
So you can go to the commission meeting and still go shopping.
Only if we get through quick.
Get through quick.
That's a big night out, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
And prior to me finishing here to go to closed session, I just want to remind everybody here that if anybody would like to stay while we go to closed session, we will get up, we will leave, we will go to our conference room, and then we will come back. We will not take any action there. We will come back out for any action that would need to be taken. And I don't believe there would be any tonight, but we would come out and do that tonight when we were done. All right, and with that, I am finished, so I need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session at 8:28.
For what?
And this is going to be.
For the purpose of,
That would be 15.268A.
It's the periodic performance evaluation of our city manager.
Right. And I think your manager has requested it be done in closed session.
Support.
Okay. Any further discussion? And do we do roll call on that?
Roll call to go in, no roll call to come out.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Rohr.
Is yours? Yes.
No, I don't know who that is.
Commissioner Ross.
It's yours now.
Yes.
Mayor Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yep.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien. Yes. Motion carried.
Okay.
Is anybody in need of a recess? I could make